Hello, welcome to my student support system. In today's class, we will discuss about digestive system. This is second lecture or part 2 of digestive system in which we will study about pharynx, esophagus and stomach. This lecture is in English and if you want to study in Hindi, you can click on I button or you can visit my channel, My Student Support System. For watching part 1 of this lecture, you can visit my channel and you will get link in the subscription box also, in which we have studied about the oral cavity. Digestive system is also known as the gastrointestinal system or alimentary canal or GIT, means gastrointestinal tract. This is a vast system approximately 10 meters long. It travels the length of body from the mouth through the thoracic, abdominal and pelvic cavity where it ends at the anus. We will cover it in multiple lectures as this is the second lecture. Today we are going to discuss the anatomy and physiology of pharynx, esophagus and stomach. What is pharynx? Pharynx consists of three parts: oropharynx, nasopharynx and laryngopharynx. The nasopharynx is considered as a structure of respiratory system and the oropharynx and laryngopharynx act in the both the systems. Means it is also helping in the respiration as well as in the digestive process. The walls of pharynx is made up of four layers: adventitia, the outer layer, muscular layer, submucosa and mucosa. The mucosal layer varies slightly in different regions. In all the three regions have slight difference in the mucosal layer. What is the digestive function of pharynx? During pharyngeal process of swallowing, reflex action is initiated in response to the sensation of food bolus in oropharynx. This reflex is coordinated in swallowing center in the medulla oblongata and the motor response is contraction of the muscles in the pharynx. The soft palate elevates, means it go up, closing the nasopharynx and preventing the food bolus going up in the nasopharynx. The larynx move upwards and forward, allowing the epiglottis to cover the larynx. So the food bolus cannot move into the respiratory passage. So the pharynx provide a perfect pathway of to the food or bolus from mouth to esophagus. What is esophagus? Esophagus is also known as food pipe. It is a muscular tube-like structure forming the part of GIT which passes food and liquid with the help of peristaltic movement from pharynx to stomach. Esophagus generally starts around the sixth cervical vertebra and travel behind the trachea and the heart, passes through the diaphragm and enter in the stomach at the level of 11th thoracic vertebra. The overall length of esophagus is 25 centimeter. The mucosa of esophagus consists of non-keratinized stratified squamous epithelium. The submucosa contains areolar tissue, blood vessels, and mucous glands. The muscularis of or muscular layer of superior or upper one third of esophagus contains skeletal muscle. The middle one third contains both the muscles, skeletal muscle as well as smooth muscle, while the lower one third of esophagus contains only smooth muscles. The superior layer of esophagus, or we can say outermost layer of the esophagus, is known as adventitia. Adventitia is a fibrous layer and it attaches the esophagus to the surrounding structures and keep it in a place. Esophagus has two sphincters. The upper esophageal sphincter, which consists of skeletal muscles, and the lower esophageal sphincter, which consists of smooth muscles. What are the functions of esophagus? Like pharynx, esophagus provides a pathway for bolus to travel down. The esophagus secretes mucus and transport the food to the stomach. It does not produce any digestive juice or digestive enzyme and does not take part in absorption. Food is transported by the peristaltic movement of esophagus from pharynx down to the stomach. What is stomach? Stomach is a J-shaped dilated portion of alimentary tract situated in the epigastric, umbilical and left hypochondrium region of the abdominal cavity. It lies between esophagus and duodenum of small intestine. Here you can see this is the stomach. The entrance of stomach from esophagus is through the lower esophageal sphincter, or it is also known as cardiac sphincter. This leads to a small area within the stomach which is called cardiac region. Means we can understand this that the stomach is divided into different regions. The first region where esophagus enter is known as cardia or cardiac region, and fundus, which is dome shaped structure. Below the fundus there is body which has two curvature, lesser curvature and greater curvature, and the pyloric region which narrow into the pyloric canal, and finally which attaches to the duodenum. The pyloric sphincter controls the exit of chyme from the stomach into small intestine. What is chyme? Chyme is a liquefied bolus which enters from stomach to the duodenum. Wall of stomach. What is the tissues which form the wall of stomach? The stomach has the same four layers of tissue as the whole digestive tract is having, but with some differences. What are the differences? The muscular layer contains three layers instead of two layers. Which is the additional layer? The oblique muscle fibers are additional. So it contains longitudinal layer, circular layer and oblique layer of the muscle fibers. The extra layer of muscle facilitates churning, mixing and mechanical digestion of food that occur within the stomach, as well as supporting the onward journey of food by peristalsis. The mucosa within a stomach is also different from the rest of digestive tract. When the stomach is empty, the mucosal epithelia fall into long folds known as rugae or ruga. This ruga fill out or become smooth when the stomach is full. Numerous gastric glands are situated below the surface of mucosa and they open on the mucosa. They consist of specialized cells that secrete gastric juice into the stomach. Stomach is like a balloon. Its minimum volume when it is empty is as little as 50 ml, and normal volume after eating full meal, the capacity becomes 15 to 1500 to 200 2000 ml, means 1.5 liter to 2 liters, 1500 ml to 2000 ml. The maximum capacity of stomach is 4000 ml, means 4 liter. About 2 liters of gastric juice are secreted daily by specialized secretory glands in the mucosa. It consists of mucus secreted by mucus secreting glands in the surface of mucosal layer. On the stomach surface, inactive enzyme precursors like pepsinogens are also secreted by the chief cells in the glands of mucosa. What are the functions of this gastric juice? Water is there in the gastric juice, so this water further liquefy the food which has been swallowed. There is hydrochloric acid which acidify the food and stops the action of salivary amylase, kills the ingested microbes and provide acidic environment needed for the effective digestion by pepsin. Pepsinogen are activated. What is pepsinogen? It is an enzyme precursor of pepsin. This is in inactivated form when it is secreted, but it is activated by hydrochloric acid present in the stomach. These enzymes begin the digestion of proteins, breaking them into smaller molecules. Then there is intrinsic factor, a protein, which is necessary for absorption of vitamin B12 from the ileum. Mucus prevents mechanical injury to the stomach wall, acting as a barrier between stomach wall and the corrosive gastric juice. Hydrochloric acid is present in potentially damaging concentration, means it can damage the stomach wall if there is no mucus on the layer, or even pepsin can also digest. Sometime in examination you may find this question that there is pepsin which digests the protein, then why does it not digest the wall of stomach which is made up of protein? So the answer is because of the thick layer of mucus uh, which lines the stomach. Now, physiology of gastric juice secretion. How this gastric juice is secreted in our body. Must have heard that there is a fire, or we can say jatragni, in our stomach. So how this is produced, how the gastric juices are produced, it's very interesting. You will find it very interesting and easy to understand. There is always a small quantity of gastric juice present in the stomach, even when it contains no food. This is known as fasting juice. Secretion reaches to its maximum level after 1 hour of meal and then declines to fasting level after 4 hours. There are 3 phases of secretion of gastric juice: cephalic phase, gastric phase, and intestinal phase. First is cephalic phase. Cephalic means it is related to the brain. The sight, taste, and smell of the food stimulates the secretion of gastric juice initially. Then gastric phase starts when food enters in the stomach. The hormone gastrin is secreted into the bloodstream, and this stimulates secretion of gastric juices. The secretion of hydrochloric acid reduces the pH of the stomach content, and when pH falls below 2, then the secretion of gastrin is inhibited. Now, intestinal phase. As the acidic contents of stomach enter into the duodenum, the small intestine secretes hormone secretin and cholecystokinin. These hormones act to reduce the secretion of gastric juice and gastric motility. The rate of gastric emptying depends on the size and content of the meal. A large meal takes longer than small meal. Liquids quickly pass through the stomach. Normally, after each meal, it takes 4 hours to empty the stomach. Functions of stomach. Functions of stomach includes temporary storage. First function is temporary storage. It stores the food and allows the digestive enzyme pepsin to work on the food and to digest. Second is chemical digestion by the pepsin. The proteins are converted into polypeptides. Next function is mechanical breakdown. The three muscular layers enable the stomach to act as churn. Gastric juice is added to the contents which liquefy it to the chyme. Absorption. Some absorption of water, alcohol and some lipid soluble drugs is taken place in the stomach. Preparation of iron for absorption further along the tract by the acidic environment of stomach take place. So these two or three functions related to absorption also happens in stomach. Non-specific defense. Non-specific defense is provided by hydrochloric acid and the gastric juices. They kill the microbes. Secretion of hormone gastrin and enzyme pepsinogen. This is also important function of stomach, and production of and secretion of intrinsic factor which is needed for absorption of vitamin B12 in the ileum, and regulation of passage of gastric content into the duodenum. This is also managed by stomach. When the chyme is sufficiently acidified and liquefied, the pylorus forces the jets of gastric contents through the pyloric sphincter into duodenum. So this is all about stomach, and next part of this GIT, that is small intestine and large intestine, we will study in next class. For watching that videos, please subscribe my channel, My Student Support System, and you can visit Facebook page, My Student Support System. For making your notes, visit my blogger, mynursingstudents.blogspot.com, and you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and join Nursing Notes Facebook group. Thank you. Have a